What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bianconerizone for another daily news video. Let's call it a daily news video. But we're gonna talk about a new era at the club, important one, probably the most important one since 2010, I guess. But this one is, I think, even more important for several reasons. Before we get into it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel as always. And yeah, let's talk about that new era. And it starts basically with, obviously, the things happening in and around the club. I think that's obvious, that marks a new era. We have no idea what that means on the pitch, off the pitch. We have no clue what it means. So let's see how that will develop in the coming days, weeks, and all those things. But the new era on the pitch, player-wise, I think it's very obvious at this point, and it's going a complete different direction than we are going in or have been going for the past 3-4 years, with signing certain players, giving big money to certain players, and ignoring other type of players basically, and that's going the young route. Now, I'm not saying we need 10 under 23s in the squad. I'm not saying that because, of course, you need quality. They need to be good enough. That's obvious. But I think you can do with under 23s starters slash backups instead of having backups on big money who are injured, or when they play, they actually don't play. Let's be honest. And I think that Arsenal game was a good indication. Also for what is to come or should be coming starting in January when everybody returns. And before I'll talk about that Arsenal game, congratulations to Paredes and Di Maria for winning that World Cup, which is, good for them. Di Maria struggled with injuries in the World Cup, but that first half against France was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I like Di Maria as a player. I think people know that, but that was so good. It was a one-man show in that first half. It was all him. He made it basically 2-0. So credit to them both winning the league. Also, shout out to Rabiot, who played well, did well in that final while being sick. That entire French team was missing so many players. Then a game before the final, they were missing players in training because of illness. So credit to them all as well. But when they return, we need a different, not a different approach, but we need to pick up where we left. Now, that game against Arsenal, we were missing all our starters. All of them, basically. Let's be honest. We went to Arsenal or to London with under 19s, not even the under 23s at some point. Under 19s, under 23s, and backups and all those things. And everybody was expecting, when you looked at the Arsenal lineup, they had quite a lot of starters playing, and it looked like it's gonna be a wipeout. Now, that game showed me, or told me, that the form we had heading into the World Cup break wasn't kind of a fluke, because we were solid. We were very hard to beat. Now, Arsenal were the better team, obviously, because they have many starters playing. I get that. They should have been 1-0 up. We made a mistake with Miretti. Miretti made a mistake. Other than that, we didn't give away clear-cut chances. Outplayed, ripped apart. No, it was corners, free kicks. That's where, the danger lied. And that mistake from Miretti when they hit that post. Other than that, we were solid with a bunch of backups, under 90s, under 23s, whatever. We looked very hard to beat, which we did before the World Cup break in that stretch game. And this was not even with the first teamers. Who starts? Locatelli starts, Miretti / Fagioli starts. But maybe when everybody's fit, they don't start. That was a situation going into the game. And Keane, he's a backup, or he's a sub, usually. That was our lineup, which Nobody expected anything, and I was just looking forward to seeing the youngsters and see some of the first teamers or like slash first teamers, backups, how they perform and all those things. And I think they played well for what Allegri asked them to do. We don't play good football. We moving forward, we had absolutely nothing. Like we didn't have anything. There were some good moments, but we messed those up with the final pass, all those things. But other than that, I think that game was, for me, very encouraging because we were playing with a bunch of backups and they all had the same mindset. They didn't want to lose. They were very disciplined. They saw this game not as a friendly, but as a game of, okay, we need to build on this. And I think that's a very positive sign. With a lot of good youngsters, you need to give credit because they're playing away to Arsenal. They have a lot of first teamers. I know it's a friendly, pressure is a bit off, but they play well. Richo, I thought he was man of the match. Like, he was solid as a rock at the back. Very, very good. Not saying bring him in the first team, blah, 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 all those things, but he was very good. And I think that's something to be kind of proud of. Ealing Jr., again, comes off after injury, impact. He's an impact player because he plays, I've said it many times, I believe, he plays without fear in terms of going at players, making those runs without the ball. That's how he scored that goal. And just keep going, being proactive, being positive. Don't play negative on the ball. That's who he is, and I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. And after the game, I think they asked Allegri, and Allegri said the same thing. Like, he seizes the moment, and that's what he does. Every time he comes in, he has an impact some sort of way, and I think that's very good, very positive. According to reports, he signed a new deal. Great. Romeo, or somebody asked Romeo, they told Romeo, oh, you got to keep him in the first team. And he was like, yeah, I think that's obvious. He is going to be a first teamer, which is a good sign because a lot of free agents at the end of the season, if he can get some game time from now until the end of the season and you can see something very good, like even better, or like this, and he keeps this up, then that's massive for us, for wages, transfer fees, all those things. It's a big deal for the club, which is very good. I think that's the way we need to go. Miretti, Fagioli, and they all need time. They're not the finished article, which we know, but when you have a Paredes on 7 mil on loan, that doesn't sound like good business. When you have Ravella, who you buy, you already paid on cheap money, and then you see the way Paredes is performing, it makes you think, It makes you really think of what have we done the last couple of years. So maybe all these things that are happening with the board now, I'm not going to say it's a good thing, but the leaks that came out from Cherubini especially makes you think, okay, this potentially could be down the line something positive because we are going to use the players we are producing, basically, or like bringing through, which we should. We 100% should. We need to trust them. They're not all going to make it, excuse me. Some are going to be first teamers. Some are going to be backups at best. That's okay. That's fine. If they don't work out, you can still flip them for money. That's how it is. If they work out, you're saving yourself a lot of money. And to end this video, Yildiz, who's playing with under 90s and is scoring goals for fun, he's wanted by a lot of clubs. PSG, Bayern, they all want him. If you need to believe Romano, Nico Schira, that's what the report said. But they added to it that there's no chance Juve are letting him go. And soon, which I'm not sure about, but soon he will also be getting a sniff into the first team, which I will be very shocked if he goes from the under 19s straight to the first team without, doing the under 23s, excuse me. I will be shocked, but he looks like a very good player. He does, which is another big thing. I'm not saying he's going to come in and he's going to be great, but like potentially, if he can, you can saying in the future, you don't need to do a Milik on loan with a 7 million buy option at 3.5 million. maybe he can be the backup in a future. I'm not saying forget about Milik, all those things, but like in another situation, he could have been that player in a couple of years instead of buying a backup on money, spending money more than you spend on him, also on wages. That gives you, in my opinion, and I think the club is thinking the same way, that gives you the freedom to save some cash and buy players you don't have in your academy or ready-made, or you're like, okay, that's it, Stonewall, he's going to come in and he's going to be ready, and we can add around him with youngsters and all those things. But again, that Arsenal game, I think, personally, good signs in terms of we looked solid even with a bunch of backups and youngsters, which is good going into January. We play in a few weeks against Cremonese, and we'll be missing Di Maria, Paredes, Rabiot, all those players. So I think that's positive. And the other positive is the youngsters. Richo, Ealing Jr. coming in. Sule played well, I think. Fajoli played well. Miretti kind of struggled, but whatever. A lot of positive signs in my opinion. The negative out of that game, I still don't trust Rugani, which I think nobody does. I don't trust him. And also, after the game, Allegri said we're going to miss Bonucci for a very long time, or quite a long time. That means that Danilo needs to stay fit, Bremer needs to stay fit, and Gatti needs to step up big time, because I think he's going to play quite a lot. I do like what Gatti does, but every 30 minutes he has a blackout. He has a mental blackout that needs to get, he needs to get rid of that out of his game. But I think he will with time. I don't know if he's going to be the starter long term, but I think with time he will get those errors which he has too many of in a game out of his game. But he's going to need to play. Bonucci out for quite a while, according to Allegri, so he's going to need to play. Pogba, he said, I don't know when, and then later on he said at the end of January, let's see. Chiesa, he will be fine, he said. Quadrado will be back, so let's see. I'm happy it's back. I'm happy football is almost back. Let's see what we can do in the second part of the season. Still quite a lot to play for. I think the realistic target for the club now is to get into the back four again, make a run in the Coppa Italia, make a run in the Europa League, and see which youngsters and which players you can build on next season, and who are you going to need to replace next season. But that's this. Let me know in the comments what you think about the game if you watch it. But in general, how many of these youngsters can we trust on, next season? How many? Can we trust all of them going to the following seasons? Or are you like, maybe him, and him not? That's possible. But please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you back tonight. Ciao, guys.